good afternoon, welcome. This is AFCON Today, live on 99.7 Joy FM, also on the Joy News channel, as well as on the Joy Prime TV channel. My name is Fentio Tahiru Fentio. Over the next 1 hour, we're looking back at the last day of matches at the Africa Cup of Nations group stages. And the shocks at the AFCON just keep rolling on. This time it's Tunisia who have been kicked out of the competition. And that exit has come with consequences after their coach was fired, or rather resigned. We'll look at that. He's become the 6th coach so far to either be fired or resign after the group stages. It's not looking good. One of them actually fired their coach despite making it into the last 16. Speaking of the last 16, we'll look at what has been, or what looks like, incredibly tantalizing pairing. The biggest two being host nation CoteD'voire against Senegal. And then there is that derby rivalry between two neighbors, Cameroon and Nigeria. With Vincent Abubakar coming back, is that the end of the Super Eagles? Will they finally be used for pepper soup? That remains to be seen. Nonetheless, we'll look at all those issues, look at the coaches that have been fired so far, and of course, look at the most important and critical round of 16 pairings. There's a 2-day break at the AFCON. No matches today, no matches on Friday. The action resumes on Saturday. Of course, Karim has also been looking at some key numbers to savor as far as the group stages of the competition is concerned. He'll be joining us a little later on the show to have a look at all of that. And, of course, ultimately, right here in Ghana, we are still reeling from the effects of the exit. The Black Stars players arrived back home last night, and on that occasion, there was no fanfare to welcome them, no drumming, no dancing. Family members arrived at the airport to pick them up one by one. They sneaked into the country in the night like crickets while everybody was sleeping. Anyway, welcome to the show. We'll take a very, very short break. When we come back from this, I will introduce my guest, and then we can start looking back at yesterday's games. This is AFCON Today, live on Joy 99.7 FM. Also live on the Joy News channel, as well as on Joy Prime TV. My name is Fentio Tahiru Fentio. Welcome to the show. The show is proudly sponsored by MTN. MTN everywhere you go. And we're grateful that MTN are a big part of this. So like I said, today is break time at the AFCON, as well as tomorrow, because yesterday we completed the last group stage matches, and dramatic games they were yesterday. Of course, Tunisia, the biggest storyline from there was Tunisia drawing 0-0 with South Africa, a result that kicked Tunisia out of the competition. Mali, of course, and Namibia ended in a 0-0 draw as well, and that also meant that Namibia held on to progress to the knockout stages of the competition. DR Congo and Tanzania also ended 0-0. What that meant, DR Congo also making it through to the knockout stages of the competition. Now you see all the teams that have qualified to the round of 16. Every single one of them are here. All of them represented by their key man, of course. Equatorial Guinea, there's none other in Suwe, with the top scorer in the competition so far with 5 goals. Capo Verde, also with Baby. Manchester United fans will remember him. Capo Verde, or Cape Verde, if you like, also through. So are Senegal with Sadio Mane. Angola through, Mali through, Morocco are also in there, Nigeria, Egypt, Cameroon, Burkina Faso, South Africa, DR Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea, Namibia, and Mauritania, the surprise packages of this competition so far. My guest here, Victor Achutamaklo, and Stone is back from Nigeria. Stone Avenue. I said Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire. You didn't last there. Nigeria is still in the competition. What are you doing back in Ghana?
Well, when I look at the food and that I ate in Cote d'Ivoire,
they're saying food chased you.
The food. When I ate, Me, personal experience. I'm not talking about other people.
I'm listening.
I ate the food and I had food poisoning. I had to run back.
Oh, no.
Ghana was good to me when I was in Ghana. I ate Ghanaian food. I was good. So I said, okay, let me come back to where I'm comfortable and watch it from here. So
yes.
So good luck to everybody there. I'm sure they're enjoying the food.
How was it? Somebody told me that Abidjan is very expensive.
Well,
How was it compared to Accra from your experience? Because you were here before you went there.
Yes, the data usage, it's up.
Where?
In Abidjan.
So you're saying data costs more in Abidjan than in Accra?
Yes.
Okay, that's one.
When you look at...
what about Uber rides, taxi rides?
So I'm thinking that all those taxi rides and all those stuff were just a little bit...
Same level?
Yes, but I think it was a little bit higher, just maybe because of the competition.
AFCON,
and
people are taking advantage.
Yes, so that kind of thing. But if you use the normal taxis,
right,
and you don't know how, you can't communicate in the local lingua, and you don't know how to,
they'll cheat you, huh?
Bro, listen, the first night,
it's an African.
They wanted to
rip you off.
And I was like, and then the guy...
You know where I'm from?
I was like, bro, come on. I calculated this thing. I was like, bro, calm down. I know where I'm going. So I asked the guy beside me, because he could speak French and English.
Okay.
I was like, bro, what can I download? Is that an app? I downloaded the app. And the price, the guy was started getting pissed. He started getting pissed off that the other guy was telling me to download. Then I checked the price. It was less than half.
Oh my God.
Of what the guy said.
Oh my God.
It was crazy.
What did you end up paying? What he quoted or the real price?
I paid. So he got pissed. He was like, he's not going again. I was like, fine. I'm like, don't concern me. So I waited an extra 10 minutes to download, to register everything. Then I booked, and then
you got a regular one for the actual price.
For the actual price. And I said, I am not negotiating with nobody again, because this other brother is going to where he's going to, and he's not going to be with me. So I'm gonna go download this thing. I just stay with the download. I'll just order. They'll give me the price. I'll go. And there are different prices. There's economy. There's executive. There's this. There's that. So you could pick the one you want. There's 4 people in one. So you pick the one you want that's comfortable for you. So the taxi guys, if you can't negotiate, you're in for a big one.
It's the same in Accra now. It's the same in Accra. If you arrive at Kotoka and you don't know anybody and you go and take a taxi, you will learn it the hard way. you will learn the hard way. Victor as well. Very interesting. So now we have the full fixtures of the round of 16. We'll get to them. Nigeria up against Cameroon. They're starting us off on Saturday. Then there's Angola against Namibia. On Sunday, it's Equatorial Guinea against Guinea, Battle of the Guineas. Then there's Egypt against DR Congo. On Monday, we'll have 2 more matches, Cape Verde against Mauritania, and then Senegal, CoteD'Ivoire. Many people looking forward to that match. And then on Tuesday, we complete the round of 16 with Morocco versus South Africa, and then Mali versus Burkina Faso. Very tantalizing indeed. No, Achu?
It is. We're seeing some really interesting pairings. And what you said earlier, the sackings that we have seen, the resignations as well, only point to one thing. The standards at this tournament are so high. That is why you're seeing some teams failing to qualify with 3 points, even though there's a second window. There are some teams that will not even wait around to see whether or not there's a chance for them to qualify because they, in their minds, they have set the targets. And for some of the coaches, they are not waiting around for the federations to sack them. Their contracts, and I'm talking here about the Tunisian coach, he resigned because he said in his contract, the minimum targets that the Tunisian Federation had set for him was to reach the semi-final stage of the AFCON. So once he didn't reach that target, he is out. But you have
to in fact, you know what? Hold your horses, because I'm going to take you exactly where you are. Right. The coaches that have been fired so far. We'll get back to the round of 16 pairings and discuss the fixtures in detail. But let's talk about the coaches that have been fired so far in this competition. Beginning with Ghana's coach. Let's talk about Gambia's coach. Tom Steinfeld. He had been there for 5 years. He led them to their first ever AFCON in Cameroon, and he did the impossible, led them all the way to the quarterfinals. He's come into this competition the build-up, Stone, I'm glad that you're here because you were here when we were discussing, Gambia's build-up. It was chaotic. They had strikes. They didn't train on the final day. They had decompression issues with their flight. They had to return to Gambia. And despite all of that, they went to the AFCON and still fought hard. And now the coach thinks that because he wasn't able to lead them out of the group stages, he has failed. Elsewhere, somebody would have very convenient excuses.
This brother, I believe, should have stayed. Because in another country, they will say, come on now. We everything we passed through, you mean we went there, we didn't get beaten 5-0?
Exactly.
I'm going to stay. Give me a raise. In fact, increase my salary. And if you increase my salary, I can do a better job at the next AFCON. But I think he's a.
I respect him.
Yeah, he has been a fantastic coach for Gambia. He has been there. I mean, he was there with the players. For the players to be that calm and still united and still get on the plane and still go do, he must have been involved in talking with them. 5 years, he has relationships with different players, with their captain, with the defenders, with the strikers, with all those kind of people, and also with the coaching staff and non-coaching staff, because those people are important too. Yeah. He has those relationships, and for him to be there, he's integral in ensuring that this team, move forward and everything. And for him to say, I think he should have continued. I mean, there are a lot of things coming up right now, the World Cup qualifiers. Yeah. Then, the next, I think at least stay till the next AFCON. At least. Let's see if this was a bad patch, and let's see what you can do at the next AFCON. If at the next AFCON you can't do anything, then you can say, okay, I have tried, I've done what I can do, but not with this, the whole bad experience that plagued you guys in the build-up, and then all of a sudden you want to go? No. I mean, it's like a child, you're leaving your child at a bad moment. They're children.
What about this?
Not children.
What about this? Actually, maybe staying with the Gambia was kind of limiting his own opportunities, because if you don't leave, you never know who could come knocking. Yeah. And suddenly, he's become available. Ghana need a coach. Yeah. Ghana is bigger than Gambia. Yeah. Tunisia need a coach. Tunisia is bigger than the Gambia. Algeria need a coach. Yeah. They're bigger than Gambia. So, maybe he's...
There are opportunities.
Thank you.
But wherever he goes, he will still walk into the rotten management culture at a lot of these federations. One of the problems, and I watched his final press conference, and
Nana interrupted.
He didn't. he completely let loose. He unpacked the issues from the journalists. So he speaks about how he never felt appreciated. He reminded them that before he took the job, the Gambia had gone 5 years without winning an international match. Yeah. Their last match was in September 2013. Their last win was in September 2013.
Before he came.
Against Tanzania. And then he got the job in October 2018. 5-year interval between their last win and then when he took the job. He also spoke about how he never felt appreciated because even when the team started winning, people now started questioning the style. And it did not matter the opponent. So he mentions that when they beat Morocco in Marrakech, something that he says even Morocco's rivals would love to have, they come back to the Gambia, and the first thing he sees in the newspapers are the style of football they play is not befitting of the Gambia. Wow. And he says these people have a disconnect between the reality of the country and what exists in their minds. Because if Ghana beats Morocco in Marrakech, I'll be happy.
Doesn't matter how we play.
It doesn't matter. I will be happy. But he says the newspapers discredited him. He also referenced the AFCON win in 2019. Now, that was a curious situation because 2019 was the first time in the Gambia's history they had made it to the AFCON. They didn't only qualify, they didn't only do well in that tournament, they qualified out of the group automatically. Not as one of the 4 best third-place teams. They qualified, they beat Tunisia. Now check this. According to Tom Saintfiet, when they qualified, in the midst of the celebrations, some of the tabloids, some of the newspapers were questioning why the Gambia were not playing on the front foot against Tunisia. And he said that people... and
That's wild.
That was wild. And look, when a man says these things, when you understand the context of these things...
And then the last AFCON, they went all the way to the quarterfinals.
So that was what he was talking about, that for him, even in the midst of the celebrations, there were people who still were pessimistic and were unnecessarily critical. And
Critical.
he said he respects those views, but at a certain point, they need to also appreciate the gains that the team have made. But more to the point that I think he's going to find those problems wherever he's worked. Then, look, credit to him. There are many coaches who will not survive 5 years in countries like the Gambia.
Yeah.
I mean, the nonsense that we put coaches through.
Especially during a period where he did not play a single competitive game at home.
No.
Because they were
didn't.
banned.
And he reminded them that your country does not have a professional league. So even the backbone, the
And don't have a certified stadium.
they don't have that. But he still managed to qualify for AFCON 2019, made the quarters. But what I think let him down...
2022
Yes.
in Cameroon.
In Cameroon. What I think let him down was the fact that the federation and the sports ministry could not prioritize the needs of the team properly. So for a country that had scanty resources and was struggling to get quality, you've mentioned how they could not play games at home. But this country, whenever they have to play games, they would prefer those big international friendlies that will cost them money because you're not Ghana, you're not Nigeria, you don't have the pulling power for Brazil to come and say, we want to play you. But they would engage in all of those deals. That will make the ministry and the FA money, but not money they would reinvest into the national team.
Right.
So the situation, and I got the sense that, look, the mutiny, as we have called it, that happened before the tournament, he knew something about it. Because the players had gone about 2 years with these bonuses not being paid, and after lies and lies and lies, only for them to now find out that, oh, the ministry can now afford a training camp in Saudi Arabia, in Dubai, in these
Because
places.
AFCON is here.
Because AFCON is here. Then they start asking themselves, so why didn't you make these monies available for us to prepare?
Fair question. Here's my question, though. Do you think he would do well elsewhere? In other words, should Ghana consider him, like seriously consider him as a candidate
I think so.
to coach the Black Stars?
He has the body of work. He may not be my number one choice, but you cannot look past the sort of work that he has done places like Namibia, Zimbabwe, and especially in the Gambia. Look, there are a lot of coaches who run away from that job, especially after qualifying for the quarters of the AFCON in 2019. That is a CV that you can take into any other job. He has the experience, he has the significant knowledge of the way Africans think and the management culture here, which is important because, look...
It is. If he survived in... So your point is, if he survived in the Gambia...
Oh, he will survive in Ghana.
He will survive in Ghana for sure. Anyway, so that's that. Tom Seinfeld. Right now, he says they have the most beautiful beaches. He said that he has the most beautiful women. I suspect this man. He said they had...
You suspect him of...
They have very people always smiling.
Yeah.
Because the Gambia is nicknamed the smiling coast of Africa.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know... we'll see. So Tom Seinfeld is in the market now, and maybe the Black Stars should consider hiring him. Like Achu said, he's got a body of work to back himself. Let's talk about Jamal Belmadi. Mubarak, you said we're going to go to Tunisia, and then you give me Belmadi. This is Algeria.
Yeah.
All right. This man is an AFCON winning coach.
Yeah.
Okay? And he was critical in that 2019 victory. After that, back-to-back group stage exits. And in the end, he says, you know what?
They didn't make it for the
they've
World
seen
Cup.
enough, yes. We're still on the subject of Belmadi, by the way. So, listen. What's happened here, Stone? Belmadi, how has he moved from the players that won him an AFCON to getting eliminated in back-to-back competitions?
You know, first of all, we have to look at who was the backbone and the kind of quality of players that he had at that point in time. Because the fact that you don't have quality replacements over time, it begins to tell. Because the younger teams, the smaller teams and other teams around are becoming better. And then you keep relying on the old guys that you have and the old tactics that you have. Or what we're going to do is that we're going to pack the box and then we're going to defend and contain. Or we're going to be on the front foot. We're going to use Mahrez. Don't worry, Mahrez is there somehow. The ball's going to come into crosses usually, and then you're going to get the goal. The method that you used in the old times. It's not the same method of now. Because if you look at, even check out this AFCON, for example. Look at Egypt. We know Egypt to be a 0-1 team or a 1-1 team. It's not possible. Egypt cannot try it in this AFCON.
There's just too much energy.
There's too much energy. If you
can't keep up.
If you do it, you're going to lose. You have to go and find goal. You have to go and find your own goal.
So if I get you, Stone, you're saying that his failure to move on from older experienced players is what is costing him.
Older experienced players, older tactics.
Older tactics.
Because at the end of the day, if you look at Algeria right now and the way they played at this AFCON, it was a bunch of tired legs. It was,
Mahrez looked lost.
Yeah, as in the whole thing it's just scattered. It's
Except Boneja.
It's like okay, you're Mahrez. I trust you.
You're my guy.
You're my guy.
So that's the tactics.
Whatever happens.
Go and deliver.
Yeah, go deliver. Mahrez is his guy. No, seriously. You watch the game? You watch the game. The ball, most of the balls to Mahrez. You go to Mahrez. Mahrez is sweating. Mahrez is tired. Mahrez can think again. But all balls to Mahrez. Mahrez is his guy. I'm sure. And that's how he was playing. And, is the same thing that has happened in some European teams where they had to move away from a particular player. I don't want to mention any team before some fan bases come for me. But they have to move from a particular player to start playing some kind of team brand of football to incorporate people and bring in the young stars too that are doing well in their other countries. But look at what Algeria is playing. Look at their starting 11. Look at the starting 11 of last AFCON. Then look at the starting 11 of the
2019.
Come on now.
Only about 2 or 3 changes.
Come on. And then you're looking at it and say, how do they want to progress? They cannot progress. And
he deserved this.
He deserved this 100% because Algeria was an embarrassment and a disgrace at this AFCON.
Oh, wow.
It was shameful. I was watching Algeria and I was like, this is not Algeria. This is not
Algeria that played
Nigeria.
To be fair, in that last game, I don't know whether to say they were unlucky. Maybe they were wasteful, right? They created the opportunity.
They did.
Lots of them.
At the last match.
In the last game, yes.
Yeah, but what have they done?
That was against Mauritania, right?
Yeah, against Mauritania, you can create chances. Who cannot create chances against Mauritania?
That's a fair point.
Give it to Angola, they will create chances. So
I feel like Stone has hit the nail on the head there.
Yes. And I think what he says manifests in the treatments, the opportunities or the lack of it of Mohamed Amoura.
Very correct.
How do you tell me that the kid, he's got 17 goals in 25 appearances this season, and we're only midway through the season. He's not good enough to get into this Algerian team.
As a starter, you mean?
Yeah. So you look at that and you see the problems that he will be required to attend to solve by moving the team on from those tired legs that Stone has spoken about are purely technical. So if you have to find a way to get Baghdad, Boneja, and Amoura to coexist, that's not going to happen in isolation. It affects the profile of the white players and the supporting cast around them. It will then, that front line will then affect the quality of midfield that you put behind them and the defenders that will play. So, for example, if they will require that you move the ball quicker, it means Sofiane Feghouli cannot be part of this team. It means Riyad Mahrez cannot be part of this team. It would mean a lot of the old players who cannot cope with intensity and high-octane football cannot be part of this team. Unfortunately, what Jamal Belmadi has done instead is to look for excuses. So, and I was reading through the last 6 press conferences that he's given. You would find excuses where he's blaming the pitch conditions. You would find excuses where he's blaming referees.
Yes, officiating.
Yes. And
I've seen that one.
He's blamed the weather. Look, I'm not saying everything he says is not true, but when there is a consistency of you pointing to other things than circumstances or factors that you can control, it creates the impression that you are looking for excuses. But one thing that I've liked about the way Walid Sadi, the president of the Algerian football, has handled this is he took responsibility for it. I will attempt to read to you the quotes from his statement after it was confirmed that Belmadi will go and that they decided to sack him. He essentially apologized to the people of Algeria. He admitted that they had made some mistakes, and he says that, to quote him, "We promise to correct the mistakes of the past with one goal, to put the train back on track and to renew the days of brilliance and victories for Algerian football."
And they didn't do that.
No, this is after.
Yes, okay.
Yes. So he's telling the people, I have made mistakes.
Yes.
The federation has made mistakes. The first point is by taking responsibility. And one of the remedies is by sacking this man.
That is a start.
Yes. And he says some of the things that they have done that have not served them well, they will move away from them and introduce new ideas and see if...
All right. So he's been one of the ever-present managers on the African continent. Very familiar face, Jamal Belmadi, but he will no longer be coaching Algeria, of course. So anyway, to be fair, when the North Africans come to West Africa and complain about the weather, they have a point. I don't think a North African team has ever won the AFCON.
No, but friends, these complaints...
Hold on, I'm just making a point.
Before he
I'm just making a point.
Okay.
Has a North African team ever won the AFCON?
Egypt?
On West African soil. Egypt in 2008.
Ghana? Yeah.
Yes, Egypt in 2008. So that's that. Interesting. Anyway, let's move it on to Jalil Kadri. He's probably like of Tunisia. I don't even think that he himself expected to even get the job in the first place. I don't want us to waste too much time on him. But he got the job because... By accident. Because he coached a victory against Nigeria at AFCON 2022 because the then head coach, fell ill.
Yeah.
And he was assistant, and then they made him the coach, and then he delivered a knockout victory against Nigeria, and he can do this against Nigeria, why not? He's come back, and then he's taking them to this AFCON, and for the first time in what? I don't even remember the last time Tunisia didn't make it out of the group stages. They don't make it out.
To be fair to him, he qualified them for the World Cup, beat France as well.
Don't Tunisia always qualify for the World Cup as well?
That's not the problem.
That's not the standard.
Because you see,
Tunisia seems to be the most consistent North African team when it comes to qualifying for competitions. Without even a doubt.
It's not a problem for them.
They made 16 consecutive AFCON tournaments. Yeah. That is unbelievable.
Should be a record, right?
Yes. They have the longest streak of qualifications to the AFCON.
But you don't think of them among the heavyweights because they don't always do well at the tournaments.
Yeah, but they always get to like third place or quarterfinal somewhere.
No, because in recent times, I mean, look at some of the teams that have beaten them, Tunisia, right? And even we complain a lot about our performance in the last
Ghana.
10 years, but comparatively, we've done better than Tunisia. Except, of course, when you stretch it back to 2004, they have that small title that we don't have.
Anyway. So I think we agree that he was always going to go. In fact, speaking to Tunisian media, there was a massive agreement that even after the AFCON, it didn't matter how well he did. He was always going to get sacked because they didn't like the idea of local coaches. Tunisia is like Ghana. So they always wanted him gone. And now they've gotten their wish.
Yeah. I like the fact that irrespective of who he was and how he got the job, the standards did not change. In his contract, they told him that the minimum is to make the semi-final of the World. If you don't, you're out.
Let's talk about this man. Mr. Gasset. Jean Gasset of Cote d'Ivoire has been fired, even with Cote d'Ivoire still in the competition. And the decision was made after the embarrassing defeat at the hands of Equatorial Guinea. I don't even think at the point they made the decision, they believed they would make it.
No. Because it was before the results came in.
In hindsight, what do you think the people would be feeling? The Ivorian fans didn't seem to care. They were celebrating the fact that...
They should have a party. Yeah. This should be a party in Abidjan. I'm telling you right now, a coach that can bring Pepe but neglect Wilfred Zaha deserves to be sacked on the first day.
On that note, I agree.
I don't want to know about anything. And people, some Ivorians are like, oh yeah, Zaha would have changed the game. Zaha would have done something in the game. You bring in Nicolas Pepe as your game changer. He's there running around the pitch like a yo-yo, just turning around like a yo-yo, like this, and we can't see anything he's doing. And then you want this guy as your coach? I would have sacked him on the first day and sent him off. This guy doesn't deserve... No. Any big country in Africa that employs him is joking. I'm telling you right now. Because at the end of the day, no.
Calm
I'm serious.
Calm down.
No, I'm pissed. No, see. You got to.
Okay, breathe.
You got.
Breathe. Thank you.
But you got to.
Don't let
around me.
Don't let this Frenchman.
You got to around me. Unload on this man.
Okay.
I've been holding out on this man for a long time. This man is as rambunctious as a boy.
Oh my God.
That's what he is.
He's what?
He's as rambunctious as a boy.
Okay.
That's what he is.
Okay.
No tactics, no in-game changes, no plan, no strategy. My strategy is I'm going to put Sangare, I'm going to have Kessie, and I'm going to have Fofana, and whatever they decide, let the game go like that. And however they decide, let the game go like that. And whatever they do, let the game go like that. No attack, no nothing, no production.
No plan.
Play and hope that Fofana shoots from outside the box and scores. And if Fofana scores one goal, we defend it and all this kind of stuff. It's rubbish.
But didn't they get chances against, what was it, in the second game? They were...
Nigeria.
Against Nigeria. They were basically... I'm not sure what was going on with them. They were nervous. They were...
But, friends, pre-tournament,
and then
we all expected...
Please, do not support this man.
No, I don't.
No.
We all expected Ivory Coast...
Very important.
Not to beat Nigeria, but to blow away Nigeria.
they were supposed to be favorites.
Yes. Instead, what has happened is a team that looks poorly coached, not properly structured,
They don't look confident.
and not competent enough to respond to games and make those in-game adjustments, those tweaks. So everyone spoke about the midfield three of Fofana, of
Sangare and Kessie.
Kessie. When you look at the way the Ivorians played against Nigeria, it was exactly the kind of game that Nigerians would have loved. Played right into their hands, no dynamic.
Nigeria actually looked good in that game. And I was thinking, wait a second.
I was excited.
They could not have become good overnight, right?
Nigeria looked really good
The
in that game.
transformation could only have been because the Ivorians set up in a manner that did not require them to think outside the box or to do anything.
Nigeria just needed to do the basics and they limited them.
And they limited. What for me was criminal was the turnovers against Equatorial Guinea. My God, I can.
Oh,
coach
yeah.
that.
Yeah. No,
I
those
can
counters
coach
were
that.
a professional football team
Should not play in that.
can't concede those chances. Like, it makes no sense. How are you chasing an equalizer and you completely forget about the basics of stopping a counter-attack?
It looks as though the Ivorians had somehow managed to bring the Mediterranean Sea to separate their
I'm shocked.
from the attack.
Look, I was shocked because even while they were going forward, I was thinking, what is this?
What if they
because
lose
one
possession?
break and they'll be in trouble.
And eventually-
that's how they scored 2 of the goals.
And eventually it happened. So for me, look, I can't blame the Ivorian Federation.
Who have they put in charge? Assistant?
His assistant.
Yeah.
That performance is symptomatic of a coach who has lost control of not just the team, but in terms of the coaching aspects. The players do no longer respond to him. He's no longer able to influence the players to play. And coaching, in the simplest of terms, refers to just being able to influence players to play in a manner that you believe in.
Yeah.
Once you can't do that, you don't deserve to be in the job.
Watch his assistant coach them to the AFCON title. Scenes.
Move away from this man.
Scenes.
I don't want to see his face.
Scenes. So that's that. We've exhausted the other coaches. We didn't talk about Adel Amrouche. And this one is a very interesting story.
He lost his job because...
Yes, Mubarak was showing me Amrouche the whole time we were talking about Jalil Kadri. I don't know what is wrong with him, my producer. But let's talk about Amrouche in particular. He made comments about the Morocco
and
game.
And
he said Morocco were
allegedly having undue influence
because of their relationship with CAF.
Yes.
So he was suspended.
Yeah.
Was he not?
Yes, he was.
And so...
For 8 games.
For 8 games.
And then the federation said, we have World Cup qualifiers to play.
Yes.
We have the tournaments currently to play. We can't be paying you to sit at home while someone comes to do the job. But to the more important point, I think the comments he made were politically not correct. They were inappropriate.
Yeah.
They are not things that you want to be seen because you don't have proof.
He's a true definition of talk is not cheap.
Yes.
It's expensive.
Yes.
Very, very.
It costs you your job and money.
Yes.
It costs money.
Yes.
And per the CAF's report on the disciplinary hearing, he could not substantiate any of the things that he said, and they decided that, you know what?
One other coach who is not... We already spoke about Chris Hughton, so we're not going to waste time on it anymore. But one other coach that is in trouble at the moment, while still having his job, is the Morocco coach, Redraghi. And you know what he did? CAF has charged him, they fined him 5,000 USD, I believe. And then he's also been suspended
2 games.
for 2 games for the disturbances that happened after their game against DR Congo. So Chancellor Mbemba, apparently he said verbal, physical, whatever. So he will not be in charge of Morocco for the next 2 games at this AFCON.
I think he was not on the bench for...
That's a problem.
For the...
He has already served 1?
Yes.
He has done 1.
Yes.
So remaining 1.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, for their last victory against Namibia, I believe. Anyway, so that's that. All the coaches that have been fired or sacked. So Jean-Louis Gasset of Cote d'Ivoire, he's sacked while his team is still on competition.
Friends, before we progress,
Jalil Kadri.
Africans really need to stop doing some of these things. Tom Saintfiet is an example of one of those good coaches that we bring onto the continent. But we, over time, have had this habit of hiring journeymen who would have no jobs in the continents that they come from. Gasset is one of them.
I don't even know how you got that Cote d'Ivoire job.
So, look, and especially for a country like Cote d'Ivoire, they need to be doing better. This is no different from the Henry Michel appointments, the guys who come and catch crews and hope that the good players that they have would somehow be able to get there. Throughout, in the qualifying stage, those games are not difficult, right? Until we come across the category B, category A teams, then you properly will be tested. But it's important that people like Gasset are not getting the kind of jobs, especially for countries like Cote d'Ivoire who have good money and can pay top dollar for very good coaches.
All right, very interesting thoughts, actually. Thank you for that. So let's stop hiring average coaches just simply because they are coming from France or they are coming from Ireland or they are coming from...
Someone just texted that I should speak about home before abroad.
So anyway, so all 6 of them gone. Adel Amrouche, very interesting character. Very interesting character. Anyway, let me show you something. They run a 16 fixtures yet again before I bring Karim out here. The round of 16 fixtures begin on Saturday, where we'll have some very critical matches. Of course, the biggest one being, we have 2 big games. One between Nigeria and, of course, Cameroon. That is what is kicking us off, and it's kicking us off in style. And then there is Senegal against Cote d'Ivoire. Stone, I'm going to take your thoughts on this game, Nigeria-Cameroon.
So I just got the news before I came on the stage.
And the news is Vincent Aboubakar could be back for that match on Saturday. We have missed him in the group stages, have we not?
No, we've not missed him. No, we've not. Don't be part of this team. Bring him back. He should stay.
You know, it's not an AFCON without a Vincent Aboubakar. We've missed him.
No, we've not. We stopped this thing you're doing. It's not. It's because let him stay where he is. You keep, rehabbing.
Well, to be fair,
I love the season to go.
He is back.
Yes.
And so is Onana. Yeah. So his work will be undone by Onana.
You know, one of this is exciting. I already talked about this. Is so exciting for me.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry.
What I want to see on the starting lineup, I just want to see. I don't want to see.
Fabrice Ondua.
No, I don't want to see ON.
Yeah.
I want to see ONE.
You don't want to see OND.
I don't know. That OND is a problem. I want to see ONA because Victor Osimhen has not been on form. At this AFCON, yeah. Yeah, I need Osimhen to catch form. Who best to catch form against? The guy that had 0% save against Senegal. I need Osimhen to catch form against him. Anything on target is a goal. So Osimhen...
How do you manage that?
Because, no, Stone is... Because listen, guys, listen to me. Andre Onana has the worst save percentage at this AFCON.
0.
And he kept in one match where he didn't make a single save. And that was against Senegal. And that's what Stone is referring to.
So there's someone that Richard Ofori is better than.
Of course. At this AFCON, yes.
Ofori, in the first game, Ofori made some good saves.
He made, yes, of course.
Really good saves against Cape Verde.
So if
Onana
Vincent
plays.
is back, if Vincent is back,
Yes.
he's not starting 100%.
Okay,
He is
because
on the
he's
bench.
still struggling.
Yeah, so he comes in 68th minute.
According to your wishes.
Between 1 and 60. Between 1 and 60.
The game would have been over.
All balls to Siemens and all balls to Onana. We get 3-0 between 1 and 60.
On the more
By the time
serious
Vincent comes back,
note, though,
we win.
even Nigeria themselves are still, like you rightly said, they're still struggling to pick form. They're not on form just yet. But they have managed to top a group that had Cote d'Ivoire, and they beat the Ivorians, who admittedly are poor.
Our defense is organized. Our defense is very organized.
After the introduction of Calvin Bassey.
Oh my God.
Cameroon, on the other hand, served all of us a reminder why they are Cameroon in that last game.
Yes.
And it seems like they might be coming into form at the wrong time for Nigeria.
Look, Sebastian Basson said at the beginning of the tournaments that their country was forged in adversity. They were created in chaos. And he said they are not promising they will deal with their problems before the tournament starts.
Yes.
But they will find a way to get the results that they need. And that's exactly what Cameroon have done. The introduction of Vincent Aboubakar gives them an extra layer of quality. He opens up the team a bit, becomes the focus of the team, and allows others like Kaltoko and Kambi and even the white players to then be free and be able to express themselves. And I like the problems that will create for Nigeria, because up until this point, every team Nigeria have played in a manner that has not required the Nigerians to move out of their comfort zone. So teams don't stretch them, teams don't press them.
Yeah, they're very comfortable sitting back, sitting deep.
Teams don't press them in a manner that will disrupt them and create chances and force mistakes against the Nigerians. Cameroon are going to do that. And I would love to see...
And they're fearless. That's the thing I like about Cameroon. It doesn't matter the opposition.
They don't care.
They'll come at you.
And look,
Cameroon are not used to sitting back. They don't care. They're coming.
Look back on the last 3 big wins they've managed at the AFCON. It's not because they were better. When they played Ghana in the semis in 2017,
they just showed more heart.
They just showed more heart. It wasn't because Cameroon were better. They wanted it more, and they had that desire. When they played Egypt
in the final
in 2019, in the final again,
2017,
it was the same. In 2019, when they played Egypt, it was the same. In 2021, in their own home country, you could tell that there's nothing special about this Cameroon team.
No, they're not special players.
But there's one thing that Sebastian Basagok, and I think at the World Cup, Samuel Eto'o also said, for them, there's one thing Cameroonians want to see, that you respect the badge, the people, and you play
like
in
a lion.
Exactly. So you cannot be seen to be having a bad day when you're putting on the Cameroonian shirt, and that's what I want to see on Saturday.
Stone, Nigeria against Cameroon.
Nigeria removes
this is going to be the biggest test of...
Nigeria removes Cameroon. Simple as that. End of story. Write it, tap, done. Next match.
Fine. Next match. Senegal.
You know, they've won 3 titles off Nigeria.
Forget about that.
He's forgotten that.
Forget about
including one in Lagos.
Don't forget 2004, JJ Okocha. The free kick and finish the judge.
Did you win? You went to the final and lost to
but we beat them 2-1. Don't forget that.
No problem. When it matters most, who wins?
Don't worry about that. Write it down. We're defeating them this time around.
That 2000 final, was it in Surulere or was it in...
I don't want to remember.
You will remember.
I've forgotten the final. It's not there again. It's removed.
Did you even watch that game?
I
think you were probably too young for that.
I rewatched the game.
You rewatched it?
When I've grown up a bit.
Because I think 2000, I don't think you were...
The tape is very somehow
grainy images.
You were missing penalties for fun.
Bro, I said it has gone.
This one, the funniest thing about tournaments is Senegal could come into this tournament, into this game against Cote d'Ivoire, with their perfect record, and somehow still manage to get kicked out. That's what I'm afraid of when it comes to competition or tournaments in particular. But Senegal seems so far to be upset averse.
Excuse me.
It's like, if you are beating them, you're better than them.
Yes.
100%.
If you're not better, you're not beating them.
And look, the Ivorians are going to play with their hearts. They are going to have this, as we call it in club football, new manager bounce and all of these things that we like to see. Senegal have faced teams that have done that, that have presented that. But Senegal will require you to bring more than just desire.
Yeah.
Technically, they play with cohesiveness that is not common in international football. They play with cohesiveness that you only find in club football. And that, for me, is it is only the evidence of how long Aliou Cissé has been in charge. The freedom is there to do the work. But also, more importantly, the synergy that exists between the various youth national teams of Senegal, to the extent that if you take a central midfielder from the under-17 team, the qualities, if you break down his profile, the qualities that he's going to have are similar to someone who plays in the national team. That's how come Lamine Camara would make that jump from under-17, under-20, and then straight into the senior team within a year or two, and he'll fit in and look right at home. So all of those things count for something, right? And in the 2 games that the Ivorians were required to produce proper technical plan and make the required structural adjustments in game, they could not respond to that.
So you think...
Look, all of these things we're saying that...
are beating them.
In this tournament, you can't pick and choose when to show up. Senegal will beat them. You are not going to pick and... So what? You are slumbering your way through the group stage, qualify by virtue of someone's hard work, and then against Senegal, you want to turn up.
This is the one tournament where form wins. If you are not good,
you are not good.
Your pedigree is not saving you.
I'm gonna remind you guys of Portugal 2016.
They survived barely.
In the group stage, they survived barely, and then they
went all the way to
beat
win.
France
True.
in the final. So I'm not saying that I'm against
that's going
Senegal.
to happen.
I am strongly with Senegal.
Being a Nigerian, he wants Senegal to be eliminated.
No. I want Senegal to come. I want to eliminate Senegal myself. I want them to come. I need Senegal.
You haven't been eliminated.
No, forget about Cameroon. Cameroon is a done deal. I'm talking about Senegal now. But you see, CoteD'Ivoire, I don't want us to just throw away those guys, because I think that with this embarrassment, national embarrassment they faced, that they will come now with a kind of heart. But again, there's a level that heart gets to and it stops, and then technicality has to show up. That's just the truth. All
right, cool. AFCON Today, live on 99.7 Joy FM, also on Joy News and on Joy Prime. Proudly sponsored, of course, by MTN. Time to bring our philosophical man, Karim. Adamu Bening Abdul Karim is here. He's been putting together.
I'm giving you what
How
you deserve.
Karim, all correct.
Today he didn't walk in circles before.
There are serious things to be talked about.
What's going on? I like the pins on your jacket.
Thank you.
This gentleman, you're giving us pressure.
What is
no problem. All right, Karim, what's going on?
Have you heard the news?
Tell us the news.
You should know it already.
Tell us the news.
The same Iñaki Williams that we had, and he looked lost in the dungeons.
What's the dungeons? You mean the Black Stars?
So the Black...
Okay. So what's the news? He scored and assisted.
And he scored and assisted.
Yes.
What's the difference? What is the difference between playing for Ghana and...
The players he plays with, they are passing him the ball. In Ghana, they don't pass him the ball.
And what is that? What is the cause of that?
I don't mention names. The cause of what? It's a structural issue.
Because they don't trust him.
They don't trust him.
Yes.
So the key word is trust.
Trust.
Okay.
That is why the American educator, Stephen Covey, he says that trust is the highest form of human motivation, and it brings out the very best in you.
I trust you.
Yes.
So bring your best.
of all the quotes Karim has given, this is... All the others are relatable, but this is more relatable.
Well, let's get to what I want to do today.
Okay.
Looking at the goals that we scored at this AFCON after the group stage and how it compares or relates to the other 3 AFCONs, especially looking at that 24 teams started in 2019 and 2021. So at this tournament, after 36 games, we've seen the team score 89 goals.
After 36 matches.
After 36 matches, 89 goals, and 9 of them are from penalties and 3 from own goals. If you are comparing this to 2021, it means that 2021 we've seen 68 goals. That is what? 21. We've seen here more than in 2021. And also in terms of penalty goals, it's the same thing, 9. But own goals have That time we've seen just one, and here we've seen more. And why are they scoring more? Because the teams are overly competitive at this tournament. Also, individual players are stepping up, and also the small teams are causing a lot of upsets and scoring goals that we see teams like Ghana and others score, but now we can't even defend our goal. How do we score? So let's look at the top scorers at this tournament. Then Emiliano Insue. It's not surprising that we are seeing him as a top scorer. His team, Equatorial Guinea, they have scored the most goals at this tournament, 9. And he
So
scored,
far, in 3 matches?
Yes, and he scored 5 of them.
So they're averaging
more than
3 goals per game.
Yes, that is more than we've seen from a lot of teams.
Absolutely.
Namibia
Including our Ghana.
Namibia in the last 16, but they've scored 1 goal. Only him, he has scored 5. And
so Namibia are the ones who have scored the least number of goals.
of course,
1.
Then looking at Insue, he's hugely overperforming his XG. He has an XG of just over 2.5.
Wow.
And he's expected to score 3 goals, and he's outperformed his XG by 2 goals. Then let's look at Baghdad Bunijas. Tunisia are out all right, but he was coming up for them at a very crucial moment, but when it mattered most, he couldn't score. He has an XG of 2. He's also outperforming his XG by 1 goal. Then Mustafa Mohamed stepping in for Mohamed Salah, who is injured, and scoring 3 goals. He has an XG of 1.6. It means that he's also outperforming his XG by 1 goal. Then let's...
The most exciting thing about Mustafa Mohamed?
No.
Before this AFCON, he had played 9 AFCON matches and didn't score 1.
Wow.
He's come to this AFCON, he's got 3 in 3. That is unbelievable.
So that's the top 3 from the top scorer, but 8 other players have scored 2 goals, including Jordan Ayew and Mohamed Kudus. Then let's look at the goals from the last 3 tournaments. This is 2019. We've seen 70 goals, and here we are seeing 89. It means that 19 goals more we are seeing in this tournament than in 2019. Then 2021, we are averaging 2 goals per game. It's almost the same thing here. Averaging 2 goals. That's the thing with averages. It's 2.47, but we can see we are seeing 3 goals per game. It's also the same as 2 goals per game as in 2019. Then in 2021, we've seen 68. I've mentioned that we are seeing 21 goals more in this tournament than in 2021. Also averaging 2 goals per game. The averages are almost the same, but if you are looking at the real numbers, 19 more than in 2021 and 21 more than in 2023. That's what I'm looking at today.
All right, interesting. Very well. Thank you very much, Karim. And very exciting numbers indeed. And if you're talking about top scorers and players doing so well, the most exciting thing, as you guys heard, is Emilio Insue, who is the top scorer at this tournament so far. The most exciting, the most interesting thing about Insue is this, that he plays in Spain in the Spanish 3rd division as a right back. And for his country, he plays as a striker, and he's scoring at the AFCON. Only the Africa Cup of Nations gives you this, and that is why it is the best competition in international football. Nobody can tell me otherwise. Anyway, that will be our show today here on AFCON Today. My name is Fentio Tahiru Fentio Stone. Thank you very much for coming. Back from Cote with a troubling stomach. Thank you, Victor Achutamoklo as well. Our show was live on Joy 99.7 FM, also on Joy Prime, as well as on the Joy News channel. The show also proudly sponsored by MTN. My name is Fentio Tahiru Fentio. Show produced by Mubarak Karuna and directed, of course, by Sarah. Until next time, thanks for watching.